Good morning, Saitlanders. Have you heard? Did you know? ATMs can become COVID super spreaders, says government. Banks will need to obey new lockdown laws. Reported on Business Insider just exactly a month ago. It's now mid-February. All banks need to ensure that their ATMs are equipped with hand sanitizers and that social distancing protocols are adhered to. The banks must ensure it, not the people in the queues, the banks. It's estimated that 30,000 ATMs will need to be equipped to comply with the new Alert Level 3 regulations. Banks which fail to comply with the new laws will be liable to fines. Can you imagine trying to implement this? It reminds me of when I was in Johannesburg in May, June of last year. During the height of the COVID-19 lockdown, I went up there to be nearer my sons and I rented a home, all very legitimately according to the laws. I was assisted very kindly by a wonderful Saitlander family who enabled me to take over a separate portion of their property. And those of you who are on my WhatsApp groups will remember that at the time that I was there, I recorded. I had to go out to buy food, and I drove past Zandspruit squatter camp, or let's call it Zandspruit, squatter camp on Beyersnordea Drive. I'll explain it for those of you who are familiar with Johannesburg. Beyersnordea Drive runs, if you're going towards town, from the northwest over the N1, past Cresta Shopping Centre, past West Park Cemetery, through Melville, etc., all the way to the old, I don't know what it's called now, Johannesburg University, the old Randse Afrikaanse Universiteit, and very close to Wits. It runs past, on the other side of the N1, in other words, north of the N1 or northwest of the N1, beyond Randburg Agricultural Holdings. It runs past a township called Zandspruit. And one day I had to go out and I drove past the township and I saw that people were carrying on as if there was no COVID-19 and there was no lockdown whatsoever. I mean, every single shop was open. And that's not, as the crow flies. I'm kind of tempted to bring it up on my computer here, on my screen. Let's see if I'm able to do so. No, I can't with the camera running. But it's maybe, I don't know, I suppose 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers from the Honeydew police station, which is about the size, if you've ever been to it, of a small village. It's an enormous police station. And lo and behold, if that is not bad enough, I left there and I went back home by another route. I drove from Zandspruit after filming and photographing how things were carrying on within spitting distance of the police station, as if there was no COVID-19 lockdown. I went back down Beyersnordea Drive and I turned left into, is it called Northumberland? Witkoppen, that becomes Northumberland, that becomes something else. I turned left into Northumberland, headed towards the Dome, the Coca-Cola Dome or the MTN Dome, whatever it's called this year, and got to the robot where there's a few yachts on the left-hand side, sailing boats and things, and there's a plant rental place, and I think there's a Midas, some or other hardware. Those of you who know the area will know exactly where I'm talking about. And there was a police roadblock stopping every single car in that, or between those wealthy suburbs, between the Dome and Randburg, between Northgate Shopping Centre. It's too much for your mind. that the police made no effort to curtail what was happening in Zandspruit. And yet the army and the police were conducting roadblocks 6 kilometers away. In a part of Johannesburg where people assiduously observed the lockdown regulations. I saw with my own eyes people in their gardens wearing masks, people driving in their motor cars with masks on. Which brings me to the point, you can just imagine for yourself how this is going to be implemented. In Sandton, if banks don't, in Sandton, Ilovo, Hilton, Westville, Umhloti, Mhlanga, Noordhoek, Simonstown, Constantia, if banks don't ensure that they have hand sanitizers at their ATM kiosks, and if they don't ensure that they employ somebody to ensure social distancing, they're going to get hell from the government. But in Soweto, Alexandra, Mlazi, KwaMakuta, Langa, it will count for nothing. It makes my blood boil. I can't help but getting very worked up about it. But here's a classic before we finish. We'll try to keep this video short because, as I've told you in recent videos, we are struggling and have been struggling with Wi-Fi signal for some weeks now. And it's a terrible job to upload these videos. And needless to say, the longer the videos are, in other words, the more megabytes or whatever you call it, the larger the size, the more difficult it is to upload them. So I'll end with this. It's a classic. Concerns around the unregulated use of ATMs, which, due to the constant physical contact with the machine's keypad and limited social distancing for those waiting in line, were addressed by the National Coronavirus Command Council on Tuesday. It came to our attention. In other words, over a year we hadn't noticed ourselves. But it came to our attention a year later that people queue at ATMs, but there is no sanitization there, explained Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. So the regulation now is that every bank or financial institution that has an ATM must ensure that there are sanitizers at the ATM. This is very important because if not, the ATMs could become super spreaders. I leave you with the genius of Her Majesty Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. Thank you for watching this video. Please like it if you liked it, share it, subscribe to our channel. When you do those things, it strengthens us. Please try to remember to do those things. It's very good for us. It's very healthy for us. It strengthens our ability to do the work that we do. Okie dokes, everybody. Take very good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.